Olympism is more than an intellectual movement. It tries to link this in with sort of spiritual symbols. So you do have things like the temple, the flame, the torch, the emblems, even an Olympic salute, which is sort of based on the kind of Roman salute, looking back to the beginnings of European civilization and bringing that forward into the modern era.
To you, as American boy, for we are all Americans. We have no auxiliaries in this country. The medal which you should separate her.
My amateur and Olympic career was now over.
We are connected, and we do these things not just for the money.
Yeah.
But the big people like McDonald's and they talk to me about job creation. I mean, what kind of jobs are they creating? Are they creating jobs which are meaningful, or are they service industry jobs, or the youth are not getting trained, they're not going to go into retail. It's all about the corporate, and we're about the community.
This is water from Bhopal, which of course is still contaminated 27 years later as a result of Union Carbide's failure to clean up the plant after the great tragedy that took place there.
I feel quite comfortable in saying that I watched the entire Olympics from start to finish. Wow. And I loved it. The beauty of it was watching people that have dedicated their life to some of the more obscure sports.
Sport is war minus death.
So this area is becoming more gentrified, that's what they call it. It's smarter and it's more expensive.
Yeah, we need that in this area, especially during the Olympic for the next year, you know. You don't want people getting scared to come over here because, right, you know, the stigma that is attached to this area.
It's kind of a rational explanation would be the fact that obviously over time things do decay, yeah? There's an idea of entropy. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
You know, it could be a really new temple for the young generation to come.
Youth is angry. We're all so angry with the setbacks that we've been given. I mean, a few years ago we were promised that after school you'll be able to walk straight into a job.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your gift.
Yes, it's calling you. He will save your life. He will give you peace.
Thank you for barraging the river up that end and now making this river not tidal so it doesn't have enough oxygen to keep the fish alive. Thank you.
Just it hasn't hit me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how people are making such a big deal out of it and emphasising on it. To me, it's just the Olympics. Yeah. I watch on TV or whatever.
And also thank you for entirely destroying the habitat for small mammals either side of the bank for a few miles in that direction.
25,000 people have died as a result of that, and yet Dow Chemicals still refuse to accept their obligations to clean the place up.
thank you for putting these bloody marvellous stadia all over the area we used to live in.
And it's great here, it's great here. And I think they do a wonderful thing when they put up that stadium here.
The men of Sweden.
Land piracy.
Land piracy. Oh, that's up to the company.
We'll see how it goes. There's a kind of ongoing dialogue between the boaters and British Waterways. The relationship between us and them is kind of up and down, but yeah, we'll see how it goes for the Olympics. I don't know.
Documentation and complication in the contracts, but yeah, looking from overall, it is explicit land piracy.
They are preparing space for the new performance.
After it's left, they should make it into a theme park. You know, Chester World of Adventure, anything like that. They can use all year round. They should make an ice ring, a roller skating ring, bowling alley, anything like that for the kids, innit?
Auf die Plätze.
Spanberg. Wyckoff. Metcalf.
I actually think the eye looks kind of sinister. I'm not very keen on that at all. Like the rest of it looks okay. You know, it's obviously represents the national colours of Great Britain and that sort of thing. But I don't like the single eye in the centre. It's
a bit weird.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint you. A guy called Dr. Brooks had some games in a place called Much Wenlock.
They've chosen the name Wenlock and
Mandeville
as the names for the London Olympic mascots.
Why do you think it's got one eye?
Because it symbolises us, our nation, as one.
The Illuminati have a symbol. The symbol is an eye.
But I think it should have been 2 eyes.
Yeah, why is that?
Because it looks less weirder.
It looks a bit weird.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorists are talking about a message being sent by the Illuminati that there will in fact be an attack orchestrated by the Illuminati as a means of oppressing the masses.
And I think you have to look at the Olympics in the context of the way in which society was changing in the late 19th century. You've got the emergence of sort of international movement. It's slightly bizarre, you might say. For example, Esperanto, looking at trying to create a unified European language. The International Red Cross, looking at trying to provide international relief.
Well, all the security issues around the Olympics are like shocking, really. Like the ground-to-air missiles and all of this like military urbanism is. I mean, you can't quite believe it, but it's happening now. It's getting. I mean, obviously, the games are coming nearer and it's stepping up.
Coubertin comes from an aristocratic sort of background and very much saw the need to maintain the position of the European elite. He takes the idea of sport as a way of overcoming, of reducing tensions in society.
Des Jahres 1936 in Berlin.
For propaganda purposes, there would be no religious persecution during the month of August.
I didn't see this detail before.
The facts. I think it's a Halloween gesture.
You can see quite a lot of boats behind me. Just a few years ago, there would have been no boats here. What has occurred is that as the global economy has spiraled out of control in this sort of crazy bubble of property prices, it's created a kind of refugee, a property bubble refugee. I'm one of them, and I live on a little boat because it's affordable. It's a little crevice in the capitalist system that many people like me have crawled into, and there is a sort of thriving community that has sprung up. Quite a lot of sort of bohemian people live on the boats in London, but of course the authorities don't like it. Property developers have acquired this site and will be building more flats.
I'm not a big fan of that kind of shopping development per se. I mean, it seems to suck the life out of our traditional shopping centres. And I appreciate things can't be preserved in aspic, but it kind of seems a little bit of a, you know, it seems unnecessary.
I don't think the religious people will even care about the Westfield, man. They don't care about it. They're just gonna get on with their life and worship their God, innit? I mean, God is God. Shopping.
We always have to be rational in the way we reason out at things, you know. So the Olympics is an old game that has been there for a long time, moving from one country to the other.
Oh yes. Yes. Oh yes. Can't remember much now. Twiddly-dum. My hindsight just isn't what it used to be. Zero the counter. The counter, please. I keep telling my problems to people I don't even know. I'm a stranger in your town. Like a meatball in a wine glass. Like an ostrich in cleats. Just so you know. Stop me if you've heard this before. My heart.
Having the power to buy something, to buy an object and have it in your possession that makes you feel better for a while, and then it wears off quite quickly.
How in a short moment of time some individuals can make some money.
He will make you a new person. He will give you a life with a meaning. He will give you a new beginning.
I enjoy evangelizing here. Yeah. And it's good. Good, yes, good response. I I don't know if I have authority to go inside to evangelize. So that's why we stand at the stoplight.
I think this year's Olympic is very healthy, that shopping center.
Yes.
Many Olympic people come there and they get by the shopping, and after you go, come back to shopping again.
If you put this amount of money in this place, in the next 5 years, your people are going to starve.
If you got the money, why not? Westfield Mall is the best place for you.
I think it's got a lot more busy in the last few weeks since the Westfield's open. There's a lot of human traffic now around here.
More people there, to be honest. Like when we try to go to restaurants, when we try to get through the crowd, it gets quite difficult at times.
People like to shop, people who believe in retail therapy, it's very good. And you get all the brands, all the names, all the big shops.
Commodity prices are kind of very, very unstable. Rich people don't know where to put all the cash they've got.
The poorer society is being brushed under the carpet, and now young up-and-coming people like lawyers and different kind of firms are being pushed in, especially Hackney.
In that part of the world right next to the Olympics site, there are people living in third world poverty, simply are invisible to the grand story, which is the story of what? Westfield shopping mall. A huge new shopping city to sort of replace what was an old London borough.
We can without having to begin campaigning, because I really want to focus on getting us ready for the Olympics. That is going to be the great moment. You know, you began by asking me quite rightly about the looting and the riots, and we so need as a city to move beyond that. We so need to show the world that is not how we are defined. That is not London.
I'm interested in the day-to-day level. I'm not interested about big corporate companies coming in, making a load of money out of the Olympics and leaving us.
Back in 2002, before they decided to bid for the Olympics in London, the British government, Mr. Blair and Mr. Brown and so on, didn't think the Olympics were a wonderful opportunity. At that point in time, Mr. Blair and Mr. Brown thought that it was not a particularly good idea. And then, shortly afterwards, they changed their minds and they decided it was a good idea. And then they started saying exactly the opposite.
But it's a good thing that, you know, the Olympics is at our doorstep and it's open at the right time, because people are going to be coming in from other countries to the area. They'll get the opportunity to see Westfield as well.
If Mrs. Thatcher had not got severe dementia,
right,
and could understand exactly what the London Olympics meant, what would she think about the London Olympics?
These kind of mega events, as they're described, do not produce, you can't expect them to produce benefits. They're more about national celebration.
I proclaim open the Olympic Games of Berlin, celebrating the 11th Olympiad of the modern Olympic era.
The politicians are looking at one world, and the people who live in it are looking at another world. There's no coincidence between the two, because the political world is absolutely sold to this grand project.